Hey, Ludlow, grab a light can and get out here now. I need your help.
Me? No! Look at me, I look delicious. They'll gobble me up like space dim sum.
We're the only ones who can do this. Come on, you're the Wonder Kid.
Brenner's right. I am the Wonder Kid.
That was a clip from the film Pixels, and joining me is one of the arcaders. I'd quite like to have one of the arcaders' outfits myself. Actually,
Are they cool?
I want one of them. Josh, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here, Josh
Great
Gad.
to be here.
Is this the first time on the show? I think it might be.
This is. You've never invited me before. I didn't take it as an insult. I took it as a sign that I hadn't come of age yet. I haven't gained the status.
Hey,
yet.
I'm a substitute, so I'm on the subs bench most weeks. So I know how you feel. I know how you feel. Do you know what I came away from this film kind of really revisiting was my whole kind of, I grew up. I was born mid-70s,
right.
So the 80s for me were my childhood,
right?
And I just loved that whole kind of thing. Going, oh yeah. And all I wanted to do was like go home and play Tetris,
right,
and play Pac-Man and all that kind of thing.
It's loaded with nostalgia. It's anybody who grew up in the 80s is going to have so many recognizable moments in the film where they go, oh my God, that's right, I remember that. And for anybody who loved those early arcade games, they're all brilliantly represented in the movie in terms of Pac-Man, Galaga, Centipede, and a lot of surprises. And it's just kind of an old school fun throwback. It's not going to win any Oscars, but it's certainly, I think, going to win over people's hearts because it's just fun. And for me, also growing up in the 80s, it was so cool to just be thrown into that world of all these characters coming to life.
The way that they've morphed the kind of real action and the CGI is seamless.
Thank you.
And it's incredible technology, the way that they've brought these characters from these games to life. For you guys filming that's not an easy thing to react to and act off when it's not there, I imagine.
No, you're responding to tennis balls and an aggressive director screaming at what the tennis balls are trying to do to you. And it's a bit surreal. But also a great exercise in imagination. And so, Chris Columbus, who, of course, has done many of these films before, whether he wrote them like Gremlins and Goonies or directed them like the first two Harry Potter films or Mrs. Doubtfire, he knows storytelling and he knows what he needs to get out of actors and how he needs to correspond that to the special effects.
Yeah.
So he really does a great job of representing what that's going to be and shows you pre-visualizations before you shoot any of it.
Ludlow, your character, he's a fun guy.
I
like him.
He's a bit
He'd be
unhinged.
the one of the team I would hang out with.
Thank you. He's unhinged. He's a bit of a social pariah. He is. I think the word would be unstable at times. But that was what was so fun about reading it. I remember the first thing that I responded to in the script was, he's got this crazy scene where he just suddenly verbally assaults a group of Navy SEALs. And it was just so unexpected and insane to me. And I was like, that could be really fun. And that sort of represents the characters. Like at any given moment, he's this crazy conspiracy theorist and he can just switch on a dime.
What was it like working with Chris Columbus? Because you name check just some of the films that he's worked on across the board, whether it be writing or directing and stuff. I have this terrible thing called band Tourette's, that if I'm in the company of a band, I kind of involuntarily kind of sing one of their songs at their face.
Yeah.
I kind of would probably have done that with Chris Columbus, where I'd be quoting things at him.
Right.
Did you find yourself in that situation?
I do not suffer from this band Tourette syndrome that you have, but I definitely geeked out. I mean, he's Chris Columbus. He discovered the world, and then after that, he made incredible movies that define my childhood. What I would do is geek out and ask him questions about his films. What was it like working, like, did you know that so-and-so is going to be a great, like that kind of stuff. How did you come up with the Scream and Home Alone? Like, did you know that was going to be iconic? The Mrs. Doubtfire stuff. Did you know what you had when you were, you just sort of like start rattling off questions about all of these pivotal moments, and he's always game. He's always game to answer them.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's been a part of some of the most iconic films ever.
Yeah. And I think I read somewhere as well that you said that Robin Williams was a big hero of yours as well, in terms of...
Remains a big hero of mine. His legacy is one that truly not only touched me, but made me want to do what it is I do. Specifically, I remember seeing Aladdin in '92 in a movie theater and just being like, one day I want to do that. And his performance was just, it was so unbelievably unhinged and so spontaneous. And I'd never seen anything like it. And I said, you know, that's what I want to do.
And you did. You have.
I tried.
I mean, oh, come on.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
look
thank you.
at Olaf and what he is to people around the world. That's an amazing achievement. You've got to feel a little element of pride. And
I certainly do. And I you know, I don't mean this lightly. I think I owe it in many ways to the late Robin Williams, who really, you know, made me want to do it and inspired me.
And you're doing it again, which would made a lot of people
and
even
I'm doing
happier.
it again. Yeah, I'm very excited. We're gearing up to do a second Frozen film, and I don't know much about it. I just know that the whole creative team is hard at work, creating a brand new story that's hopefully as worthy of a sequel as any other. And I think the little I do know of it has very much excited me.
Do you get involved at all in the, you know, once you guys will start, you know, once you kind of get brought into the kind of fold of everyone a bit more, will you be allowed to be involved creatively in it? Did that kind of, or how does it?
You know, from a standpoint of dialogue, improvisation is very much a part of what we do. So a lot of the lines in Frozen, they just let me play with and come up with in the room. So in that sense, yeah. When it comes to the actual breakdown of the story, not so much. They're all more than capable of that, and I think, you know, we're in very good hands. They don't really need my help, but I'm always eager to springboard ideas off of, and they're very they're amazing about allowing us to just be loose in the room and come up with stuff.
What a great amount of freedom to have with something that, you know, that is so huge.
Oh, it's incredible.
Because it allows you to kind of, you know, you're creating that character. The story's there, yeah, but the words, you're very much helping form that character and that connection then that people have with him.
That's right. And I think that a part of why the movie works so well is, you know, they weren't slaves to any process. It was really about discovery. And Adina's performance and Kristen's performance, my performance, Jonathan Grau's performance, all the way down, there was a looseness and a freshness to it that they allowed us to find and discover.
You're a man of many talents, because we know you can sing, obviously, as well. And you get to sing in Pixels as well. A little bit of Tears for Fears in there.
Yes.
What a tune. Did you
Everybody
pick
Wants
it?
to Rule the World. Yes, I did pick it.
I wonder why I thought that.
I just thought it was so weirdly perfect. Everybody wants to rule the world. It's just thematically right on the money for our film. And I'm a huge fan of 80s pop music, and Tears for Fears is certainly no exception. So it was my homage to them, and it's once again very random, just sort of comes out of nowhere.
I have this kind of sort of romantic vision in my head of you kind of going in one day and going, guys, okay, I've got 6 track suggestions for you for the scene, and kind of doing like a sort of almost like a playlist karaoke system. Going, what about this one?
Not far from the truth.
Really?
They definitely allowed me to sort of handpick within reason what I wanted to do.
That's brilliant. I love that. You have this amazing collection of roles that you have within this industry, you know, whether it's theatre, TV, film, and writing as well was something. When you're starting off, theatre was the first thing you did at a drama school.
Yeah.
But then as you kind of go on and you bring in this body of work, do you get given more responsibility in terms of, yeah, why don't you write this? Or, you know, you go to them and go, I'd like to write this. Or
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the more, you know, proof of concept there is about what your skills are, the more you're allowed to participate in the creative process, and you know, it's for me, it's a luxury which I don't take for granted, and I pinch myself every day that I'm able to have creative input in a lot of the stuff that I do.
Yeah. What's going on with Gilligan's Island?
You know, right now we turned in a draft. I think it's just one of those things, like a lot of scripts, that's sitting there waiting for something to happen. I don't know that it's imminent, but I don't know that it won't happen. It's just one of those things where there's a lot of creative people involved, from the rights holders to the studio, that it just things need to be worked out.
A lot of cooks involved.
A lot of cooks in that kitchen.
Meal.
Yes.
Congratulations on the success, back with Book of Mormon and stuff as well.
Thank you.
I read this story where I think it was when you were originally sort of sent the script and
I didn't want to do it. I was terrified.
What were you scared of?
Well, I was scared that I was going to get shot in the head by fanatics who were not happy with the choice words that Trey Parker and Matt Stone wrote about the Lord. And so I was like, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I'm not an animated character. I'm a real person in the flesh who you're asking to go up on a stage in front of people who can be unstable and sing things that are incredibly disrespectful at times. And at the end of the day, I was involved in Book of Mormon from the very beginning. So we did 4 years of workshops before it ever hit a stage.
Wow.
So we really got to experience it and slowly see audiences respond and where we could push the limit. And the more we did it, the more at ease I became with the fact that it was just, for whatever reason, it had to work. It was going to work. And once I bought into it 100%, I think there was no turning back.
Great experience.
The best. The best.
Fear's a good thing, you see.
Fear's a great thing. Yeah. I mean, I think taking risks has been at the core of some of the most success I've had in my career. And I always feel like, you take a swing. If you miss, you miss. But there's always that chance that you could score a home run. Yeah.
I recently had the pleasure of spending some time with Mr. Hugh McGregor.
Yes.
Who's a colleague of yours.
Yes.
Who you just did work on for Beauty and the Beast, where you play, you work alongside each other. He played, obviously, Gaston and you're LeFou.
No. He plays Lumiere.
Oh, Lumiere, sorry.
Yes,
yeah.
the candle.
Sorry.
And I play LeFou.
LeFou.
Yes.
And he was raving about you.
I love that man so much.
He had the best time hanging out with you. Sounds like there wasn't much work done.
No, we just were sort of goofing off nonstop. Ewan is amazing. He's one of the most talented human beings I've ever met. Great singer too. Like Moulin Rouge is such a great movie. And I think he's going to recreate a new iconic role for the ages in his rendition of Lumiere. And we just had the best time. I'm actually wrapping Beauty and the Beast next week, and it's really sad because it's been 3 months now of shooting, and everybody's become a family, and you're always sad to move on to the next thing and leave everybody behind, but feel very special about this one. I think it's going to be really good.
Did I asked him, I thought when you do something like Beauty and the Beast with Disney, you probably have it already anyway, but surely it gives you kind of free access to and special treatment at the parks for life.
They're incredibly gracious with me.
There you go.
I think
you must need security when you go around.
Well, it gets a little. It's funny because when I go to Disneyland or Disney World, it gets a little crazy. But I just recently took my daughters to Disneyland Paris, and it was so I could just walk everywhere. I didn't have any problem. It was I was a little insulted. I'm like, really, Parisians? No affection? Okay. Yeah. But it was it's one of the many perks and incredible things about being a part of the Disney family is they truly do treat you like royalty.
I think I went to one of the parks the first time when I was like 7 or 8 with my mum and dad, and then I've got a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old, and we went last year to Paris. And it doesn't matter what age you are, you kind of step through those gates and it is like that kind of weird thing, that kind of magic kingdom thing that they go on about, but it does affect you.
Yeah, you do.
Like
you
dancing down Main Street and kind of all
you get
that.
Goosebumps. Yeah. So funny. My daughter, we had this Minnie Mouse balloon that we bought my daughter, and for obvious reasons, we didn't want to transport it back on the Euro train. And so this was like 4 weeks ago, She wakes up 2 nights ago. She looks at me with tears in her eyes. I'm like, Ava, what's wrong? She goes, Daddy, I miss my Minnie Mouse balloon so much. Can you get me another one? So I frantically started searching online for where you can get a helium-filled Minnie Mouse balloon, and they're surprisingly rare to find outside. So if anybody's listening to this broadcast, please reach out to me and send me a Minnie Mouse balloon immediately.
I might have a contact for
Okay,
you.
great.
I've got one.
She was really upset with me.
What's next? Because I'm excited to know, what's next for you.
I'm gearing up to do a film that I'm really excited about with, I think I can talk about this. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to talk about this, but it's a new film with Will Ferrell that I'm going to shoot next, and it's called Russ and Roger, and it's a beautiful script, and I play Roger Ebert and he plays Russ Meyer, and it's about the making of Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. And Michael Winterbottom is directing that, and I think it's going to be great. Yeah.
Wow, are you a fan of Michael's work?
Love. I mean, I think The Trip is forget about one of the funniest series I've ever seen, just one of the most human. And I'm really excited to work with him. And working on a couple of scripts right now, and just sort of, taking my time deciding what's next.
Brilliant. Listen, thank you for sparing the time to come in and chat to us. It's a pleasure to chat to you. Thanks, Josh.
My pleasure.
Cheers.
Thank you guys so much.